Good. Okay, so please tell us why abolishing the Innocence Section of the DA's office is harmful or not.
We used to have an Innocence Project that worked with defense attorneys to look over old cases that we had when there was a question about the guilt of the defendant. And it was through the Innocence Project that Rick Walker was freed. He'd been convicted of murder, and it was really through that project that an innocent person was freed. Number two, the Innocence Project also worked with law enforcement to develop the most professional and progressive techniques in law enforcement. So it was through the Innocence Project that we now require all of the police departments in the county to audio and videotape interviews of suspects in serious cases. It was through the Innocence Project that we changed the way we did photo lineups to try to minimize false identifications. And we don't have the Innocence Project anymore. David Angel is the one who is working on those issues. And so we're not providing that kind of guidance to law enforcement. But as a prosecutor, I want to get the bad guys, but only the bad guys. And I think the vast majority of our convictions are solid, but it's a human system. And with DNA evidence, we know that if we had that DNA evidence 15 or 20 years ago, there are a few people that wouldn't have been charged with the crimes they were charged with, that wouldn't have been convicted of the charges they were convicted of. And that's not fair. And so to do justice means, to convict people of only what they did, not more, and if they didn't commit the crime, to be freed of it.
Well, first of all, I think the question assumes what we call facts, not in evidence, because I did not abolish the Innocence Project. The Innocence Project is really a name of a unit made up of one lawyer whose full-time job was to investigate or review claims of innocence from people who were convicted of crimes. And during the budget cuts, as I indicated, we had to do a lot of things we didn't like, not do things as focused as we would like, because when you have to cut $5 million and then $4 million and then another $4 million up to $11.7 million, some things we're not going to be able to do as focused as we did before. We used to have 15 community prosecutors across the county. We now have 0. But we do spread those claims around. So they go to our law and motion department and they are reviewed by people as an adjunct to their other assignments. So we do still look at those claims. In addition, I think it's important to understand that when people get convicted of crimes, felony crimes, there's an automatic appeal. All those cases get appealed. The Attorney General appears on our behalf usually at those appeals, and then the appellate court looks at them and renders a decision. And then if there's an appeal after that, the California Supreme Court takes that appeal. And then if there's an appeal after that, it's usually done through a habeas corpus, and those cases are filed, and then they come to our office and we review them. So in our justice system, there are many, many levels of review.